will call to order the meeting of the Alcohol License Advisory Committee. Roll call, please.
Present members of the committee are George Bruner, Mark Bumpus, David Marshak, Heather Miller, Matthew Sikich, and Julie Struns. Justin Henry is absent. We do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes? We will have the approval of the minutes. I would entertain a motion.
I'll second.
Moved by Bruner, second by Sikich. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Requests and comments from the public regarding items on the agenda not requiring a public hearing. Is there anyone in chambers wishing to comment? Going once? Going twice? Moving on. Licenses 5A, original application and public hearing for a Class A intoxicating liquor and fermented malt beverage license for SMG LLC, doing business as Santa Maria Supermarket, 1820 Center Avenue.
If the applicant and agent would come to the podium, and anybody else who will be speaking about today's application, please state your name and address for the record.
Ours 3823 Falcon Ridge Drive, Janesville.
And why don't you go ahead and tell the committee a little bit about your business plan and your application for an alcohol license?
Basically a grocery store similar to like an Aldi with the option of selling liquor to go. Well, there'll be a restaurant, a bakery store, ice cream store, and a full supermarket.
So this will be a separate standalone liquor store, correct?
That is correct.
When I look at your drawing, I couldn't tell if that door goes into the supermarket or if it goes two entrances to the outdoors. Could you clarify?
It's just to the outdoors. It was revised. There was a door to the supermarket, but we had to revise it.
So there's no entry between the two?
There is no entry. And it would have its own separate door from the front of the building.
When I look at the location of this potential establishment, it is less than 300 feet from a family entertainment center. So we have an arcade and we also have a bowling alley in the same location.
Correct.
I'm a little bit concerned about that, being that there are 8 alcohol locations within 3 blocks of that location. It's a very condensed area for alcohol sales, especially with 2 family entertainment venues next door.
So, Chairperson Miller, the statutes on the 300 feet, it's for a school or a church?
Or a family entertainment.
I mean, don't they sell alcohol at the bowling alley?
They have a
That's
full
what-
liquor license, and so, and it wouldn't be the applicant who would be defending that. That would need to be a city ordinance, change to have any type of, if we're going to look at density, we would want to look at our ordinance then and say, no new Class B or no new Class A within so many square feet or so many feet of each other. So we would want to look at that for that. But I understand that you're just sharing a concern, but the applicant certainly can't defend that because that's a city issue.
I guess I'm looking at definitely the density of an already struggling area. And we're adding more alcohol to infiltrate that space. That's a little bit concerning to me.
I feel that that to me feels a little bit like we're impeding on the market, the open market. I think we need to allow businesses to go where they want, and the market will figure out if it's too many. I don't know. I think we're on a slippery slope when we start saying there's too many people trying to do that there. That worries me a little bit.
I've got a kind of a question, just when you were talking about this, and I understand the standalone liquor store, and you've got your grocery store that you say is gonna operate similar to an Aldi's or something,
Correct.
and then you mentioned a restaurant?
Yes.
Okay, now, I guess I'm trying to figure out, where's the location of the restaurant, and do you intend to serve alcohol in the restaurant too?
No.
Okay, and how is the restaurant located? It's like three separate businesses in a sense. Is the restaurant located in the same area as the grocery store? Is that separate too, or what?
The restaurant's located in the same area as the grocery store.
Okay, so the grocery store and the restaurant are within the same walls,
Correct.
okay? And then the liquor store, if I'm looking at, and I'm familiar with that building, is what, right next door to it then?
It's gonna be on the left corner of the store.
Okay, on that corner of the building.
To the right side of the building, in the same corner of the grocery store, or towards the left enclosed.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
There won't be any windows, any walls, it'll just be an enclosure.
May I? Committee member Marsick, that reply is what's been going on for years. Let the businesses duke it out themselves without concern for the public. So this is a standalone business altogether. It has nothing at all to do with the restaurant.
Correct.
It has its own separate sales tax number.
It does not.
So it's not a separate business.
We're putting it under SMG
So
LLC.
I'm saying if it's a separate business, a separate entity all by itself with its own address, it should be a separate business, should it not? So you can have the separate business all over town, all running on the same sales tax number?
Yes, we were told that it could be.
Really?
We have that separation thing, and that's like
Well, I understand that,
Woodman's and all
but
those.
he's calling it part of the
Yeah.
grocery store, but it's a completely standalone. The other thing I see in here is that there's no washrooms here, there's no mention of storage, where you're gonna store the, alcohol at. Is that gonna be within the confines of the liquor store?
Yes.
But it's not on this diagram here that you gave.
Storage,
No storage.
It's actually a very small space to be able to see storage. The storage is not indicated. And if there's storage that's expected to be within the grocery store, then there isn't that separation. You understand what I'm saying? Just a 15 by 30 space is not a lot of display space. And then without walls and storage area, it's hard to see where that overflow would be. And so are you creating more walls? Are you making another storage or office type area within
the
those?
left of the grocery store, there's another vacant unit that's what we were considering to put all the storage for the liquor store.
We're considering what happened decided.
Correct.
I'm gonna go ahead and read the statute on the 300 feet. So we're looking at restrictions on alcohol. No Class A or Class B license or permit may be issued for premises, the main entrance of which is less than 300 feet from the main entrance of a public or parochial school, tribal school as defined in statute, hospital or church, except that this prohibition may be waived by a majority vote of the governing body of the municipality in which the premises is located. The distance shall be measured by the shortest route along the highway from the main entrance of the school, church, or hospital to the main entrance of the premises covered by the license or permit. So I'm not sure where the Family Entertainment Center came in, but the statutes don't say that, and we don't have anything in our ordinance on that.
Okay,
Okay.
I think I took that from the application itself.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Are there any other questions, concerns for the applicants? Seeing none?
And just so the applicant does know, you know, under the current rules, if you did decide to store liquor in a vacant area, you would need to have that space approved, because when you do have an alcohol license, it is for the storage, sale, consumption, etc. So if you do decide to do that, you'll need to get that license amended to cover that area. Okay?
Yeah, I think.
Does, Madam Clerk, does that have to be contingent then to? It has to
Well,
be
so
contingent to where they're at?
it's not uncommon for an applicant to come before a committee to get their liquor license before they finalize their store setting and their plan. And so if they did want to amend their license to do that, they would need to come back and have that floor plan amended so that, you know, the council could then take action on your recommendation. But no, the recommendation today is whether or not the application is fit for under our rules.
But if they would come back, because they're going to go to this separate space, what I'm asking, under the license, does that separate space at least have to be contingent to the liquor store, or can it be an address
Oh, I
apart?
see,
Contiguous.
congruent. Yeah, okay,
Contiguous.
okay, I see what you're saying. Does it have to be within that rigid wall construction? Yes, it would. Yeah, because when you have a Class A, you need to have a rigid wall. You know, for example, I was shopping Festival, and I was like, where do you guys keep your storage? And they were like, well, the trucks bring it in the back of the store. So I had to kind of talk to them about, you know, well, that's technically the grocery store, not licensed. Let's find a different spot for you, or let's come back to ALAC and amend that floor plan. So yes, it would need to be within either that rigid wall construction, or you would need to agree to an additional storage area.
And I just wanted them to understand that. it should be
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I just wanted to say, I made a trip up to Madison to see their original store. And what I did notice is that they don't really have storage for alcohol. It sits on the floor and it goes floor to ceiling of alcohol. And that's how that is stored in that location. So I'm wondering if that was going to be a similar situation here?
So we aren't trying to let that be the biggest sale from the grocery store. We just want to add it to the grocery store. Buy it one single pack or something, but it's not gonna be like something that we're trying to make a big.
It wouldn't be the main use of our sales, it wouldn't be the liquor store. But the intention is not to have liquor, the cases packed up to the ceiling.
So you probably carry a lower inventory than a full liquor
Now
store.
that
is
we
what-
have
what
the
we're
option
getting at.
between, to share between both.
Sure.
Is there gonna be an entrance in the back from the grocery store for the employees?
From the grocery store, yes, there would be like an exit, there's receiving in the back of the grocery store, not for the liquor store.
What I'm saying is the back of the liquor store, is there gonna be an entry to the back of the grocery store for employees?
No,
No. So there will be staffed 100% all the time that the door is unlocked.
correct.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve,
That was
oh,
approved.
public hearing.
Oh.
I will open up the public hearing. Is there anyone in chambers wishing to speak on this issue?
Yep, just come, you can come to either
Your
podium.
podium.
They both work, and then just state your name and address for the record, please.
Amrik Rathod, 803 Cambridge Drive, Janesville.
And Verkamal Boparai, 3334 Guinness Drive, Janesville, Wisconsin, 53546. So Amrik, he runs J-Town Spirits, and that's directly across the street from this proposed store. It'd be very detrimental to his business. I mean, you've already got, 4 other off-premise liquor stores within a mile of each other. It's a very, very dense area. While I agree that, yes, let the market figure it out, I don't think that it's beneficial for anybody for the store to have a liquor license, just because, you take constrained sales and you restrict them even further. You're gonna have one store that remains open, and the rest of them are all gonna close. I don't think it's the best decision, but that's my opinion on the matter.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You say that's not a ALAC decision, that's a city decision?
It would be an ordinance requirement to restrict license applications to come forward within certain areas. I will tell you that, in my prior employment, they did an ordinance on Class A that was 1,500 feet. So, they knew when they applied that you couldn't have an alcohol license within 1,500 feet, and it was a density issue. But we don't have anything currently that prohibits applications within a certain area. So, density can be a consideration when action is being taken and recommendations are being made, but we don't have anything currently that is prohibitive.
And who would make such ordinance? I mean, is this something we have to kickstart? Is it something the city council has to start? I mean, I do agree and I do feel for the gentleman over there, but if there's not an ordinance, it's hard for us to go against
Generally,
their application.
administration or 2 or more members of the council could bring forward a request to amend our ordinances.
And the Alcohol Licensing Commission is just a recommendation. This is not a cure-all, end-all. This goes to the council.
For some reason, I feel like there was a state statute limiting Class A licenses within a certain distance of each other.
That was the statute that I read with the 300 feet from a school or a church.
Okay. So that wasn't between.
Or a hospital.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing.
That motion is now acceptable.
Okay, we have a motion by Sikich, second by Bruner. Any other comments, questions? Mr. Bruner?
No, I understand the question of density. That's something that was discussed 20-some years ago, probably, in regards to the location of licenses. During that time period, the council has not seen fit to try to construct an ordinance as such, and has just been relying on state statute. So I can say it's been something that's been discussed for years, but there's never been anything set forth in ordinance on that I'm aware of. I just want you to know, it has been something that's been on the table for years.
Mr. Sikich, anything further?
No, I know Madison, I believe they took away some licenses to kind of, instead of to try and improve the business life statute, whatever you want to call it. I think we should maybe consider moving forward, but until we have those proper channels, I stick with my motion.
Anyone else have a comment, question?
My only other concern, I think this group or these people are coming through with some things that are needed in that area too, and they're trying to have a business so they can be competitive and make it work. And so I guess I support them for what they're trying to do.
Anything further? I guess based on the concentration of alcohol establishments in that area and that I live in that area and I know how difficult it is to exist in that area as it stands, I would be hard pressed to support this at this time. Seeing nothing further, please vote.
Lost my thing.
Are you a yay or a nay, Committee
Yes.
Member Brumer?
No, it's back, but it wouldn't change colors, so.
Okay, I picked it up.
Yes.
Okay. So that passes 4 yes, 2 no, with Miller and Bumpus voting no.
This will go as a recommendation to the council. Thank you.
Monday night, 6 o'clock, this room. And there will be no public hearing. It usually comes on consent, so there is no public hearing unless council removes it from consent to have further conversation, but you want to be here.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving on. The original application and public hearing for a Class B beer only license for Level Up Golf Academy LLC, doing business as Level Up Golf Academy at 3410 Bell Street.
The applicant would come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Michael Tabbert, owner of Level Up Golf Academy LLC. Our primary source of business is golf instruction, club fitting, and just overall golf development. I lease a space inside of the 3410 Bell Street, which is known as the business of Limitless Performance. The owners there, their primary source of business is fitness development and fitness training, but I lease about 1,000 square foot studio inside of that building that they sublease to me, and want to offer beer only as a source of revenue to be able to offer competitive golf leagues that we would do for the 2025 to 2026 calendar throughout the winter for our indoor golf studio, where we have TrackMan simulators to run golf leagues. Primary source again of business is golf instruction and club fitting, but with a secondary source of income of basically running golf leagues for evening hours of basically 7 to 9 p.m. would be basically the primary focus for our leagues, nothing any later than those hours.
Okay, ask a question. We've got the sketch of your area. Where is that within that building?
So there's one main entrance of the building. When you walk in, you take a direct right, going down to their main general gym area, and then they used to utilize that for kind of a classroom setting, but they now I've converted that into a golf studio. So it's located about 50 feet, stepping in and down to their general gym to the right.
Okay. So there's no separate entrance in and out of the building to this? You got to
Correct.
go through
You
the
have
building?
to go through the primary business to enter this space. It is a lockable room. The room is 100% always staffed with either myself or another staff member that I have employed with the Level Up Golf Academy. But it is always 100% staffed, and it's, as you can see, a small space. It's an open floor plan that we can see pretty much everything that resides within that space from one person.
If I could ask, this other staff person, are they licensed?
Not currently, but would be based on the acceptance of this hearing.
Okay.
I have a question, just to kind of clarify your operation. I understand the golf part of it,
Sure.
but, what are you going to be open like 365 days a year, or
Yeah.
closed on Sundays, or, how are you gonna operate? And what's the normal hours of operation? Like, for example, are you open, all day, like, for a business of club fitting and things like that?
Yep.
How are you staffed? What's your business plan out here?
Yeah, so my general business hours is generally would be from 9 AM to 9 PM. Generally, the alcohol sales would be just based on convenience for anyone that's probably utilizing the simulators for rental purposes, for practice or play. And then obviously we would do leagues as a structured thing in the evening hours would be the primary time frame. I also lease space out at Glen Aaron Golf Course to run their player development services in the summertime. So this 3410 Bell Street location would have a much lower dipped amount of business in the months of April through October due to we would be providing a lot of our services outdoors. Most indoor golf spaces generally do close in the summer times due to lack of usage. This would basically only primarily use as a weather dependent location for myself and my other staff members in the summertime. This will be the primary use basically from October 1st through April 1st. It would be the primary use of this location to run full operation. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I guess so. The idea of, I guess, having an alcohol license, is that gonna be utilized 12 months out of the year, or, I mean, you have to be open and be operating, if you're holding a license, isn't that correct? I mean, can
You
they
have
close-
to, you
can
have
they
to be
close
open
down?
one day within a 90-day period to
Yeah,
avoid the
that's-
abandonment of
Yeah,
license.
that's what I'm saying.
Just like a golf course having a license now, though.
Yeah,
Like
right.
Riverside
Yeah,
or Glen Aaron,
right. No,
like,
no.
it's just a reverse.
No, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I'm just trying to get my hands around what he's doing and how he's gonna operate.
It would still be operating based on weather dependency, so if we didn't have any bad weather in 90 days, then the limited amount of use in that space, but generally, we're gonna have some inclement weather where we're gonna move our operation indoors to this location in the summertime of that April to October range of time.
No, I understand with the golf thing and with the golf courses, the way it works, but, it sounded like maybe he was gonna have more of a business with, the club fitting and all this sort of stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just trying to compete with golf leagues
Yeah.
with the other
Yeah,
business in town. And without beer, he doesn't think he can have a golf league.
Correct.
Nobody in the golf league is under 21, under 21?
No, generally, I
Generally?
haven't ever ran the league, so it's
Saying
a
it's not
new
generally.
business location, so, but yeah, and anybody that would be in the league it would be an adult league. I'm
And
sorry, I
or-
didn't answer your question.
And/or anybody to use the simulator,
I'm sorry, what's that?
and anybody using the simulators.
Well, anyone can use the simulator.
No, they can't, they'd have to be over 21.
No, I don't, wouldn't.
No,
They can enter.
No.
It's same as a bowling alley.
like,
They
yeah,
can get
yeah,
in.
yeah.
But it's not a bowling alley. Bowling alley is specifically mentioned in that, statute. Bowling alley is specifically mentioned, not for golf leagues.
No,
Put it to like
but the
an example
simulator
of
is the same.
Riley's on the Green, they have kids come in and rent their simulators all the time.
They,
yeah.
Yeah, anyone can come in and rent the space, but to serve them alcohol, they would have to be above 21 to be able to be served.
I don't know if you remember, committee member Bumpus, when we were going through the Papa Docs application a couple years ago with that. Because yes, bowling alleys are specifically labeled in the statute and axe throwing was not. And so it is really an entertainment venue. Entertainment venues can have underage individuals in there.
state statute changed to make that for the axe throwing. That's why we amended our statute, because the state statute amended axe throwing
And golf simulator, golf,
simulators.
I don't know what the word is, it's not simulator, but golf has also been, they did update in the act to include these newer, obviously if you were still a salon or something like that, salons and storefronts cannot do this, but these sports venues are allowed to have underage individuals in them.
So all the salon would have to do is put up a golf simulator and not use it, and still be able, and then they'd be able to sell beer.
I don't know.
Probably.
Always pushing the envelope.
Mr. Tabbert, when I look at your drawing, I don't see any sort of a counter or purchasing location. Is this a serve yourself? Is it, all
No.
I see is a display cooler and no counter.
Yeah, so it's an open floor plan, so the primary use of our desks are the ones that are located for the simulator purposes of the computer and such. That's where we run all of our transactions, is just through a point of sale terminal that's located next to the desk. The cooler is located off to the side, but that is only accessed by staff members to serve our patrons.
What is to prevent someone from helping themselves?
We have it basically to our staff is the only one that accesses that cooler. So it's not currently a locked cooler, but it can be converted into a locked cooler if necessary.
People from the business next door won't be able to come in and get beer and walk out with it?
Like I said, the space is 100% always staffed by myself or another
Right.
person, and that is a lockable room to be able to prevent anyone accessing it. The room
So
is
I'm saying somebody coming in, because their kid is doing their fitness exercises, is it gonna become a bar that way? Where people are gonna come in and say, hey, I can get a beer next door, you guys go up and do that?
Well, that would be illegal, and they would then be in violation of their license, and
yeah, the
would be
beer would
back
have
here.
to preside and stay inside of our
But I'm
our
saying, is
space.
it gonna become a bar
No,
specifically for people to come in, have a couple of beers, while their
No.
child is doing, their, fitness?
no, that is not the case, and their beer would not be allowed outside of our space. You have to be using the Level Up Golf Academy studio to be able to access or purchase that.
We'll try it.
Chairperson Miller, I just want to, because it was referenced, state the statute of 12507, which addresses presence in places of sale. An underage person not accompanied by his or her parent, guardian, or spouse who has attained the legal drinking age may not enter, knowingly attempt to enter, or be on the premise for which license permit for the retail sale of alcohol beverages has been issued for any purpose except transaction of business pertaining to the licensed premises within or for the license or his employee. This paragraph does not apply to, and then down under paragraph 3 talks about hotels, drugstores, grocery stores, bowling centers, movie theaters, painting studios, billiard centers, having on premises more than 12 billiard tables that are not designed for coin operation, that are 8 feet longer in length. Indoor golf simulator facilities, indoor golf and baseball facilities on premise for which only alcohol beverage license issued for Class B license. Axe throwing facilities on premise, service stations, vessels, and et cetera. So golf simulator is specifically exempted from that requirement.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, January 1, 2025.
It doesn't print.
It didn't show on your drawing as well. Do you have restrooms in there, or are they expected to use the common restrooms within the facility?
There's a common restroom directly adjacent to the studio. So as soon as you exit or enter that one entrance to the studio, there's a bathroom right there. So it's within 5 feet of the studio itself, but it would be a common bathroom to the facility.
Okay. And I just wanted to clarify, Limitless Performance is a youth fitness facility. So we're asking to put alcohol sales within a youth fitness facility specific to the golf simulator.
They're a general fitness facility. They have general membership, but yes, they do have youth-driven programming within their facility, just like I have youth-driven programming for, things the summertime out at Glen Aaron. So, you know, it's a general membership gym with also some fitness training aspects for youth.
And I don't have to have a membership to Limitless to come down and shoot some golf?
Public person to access the Level Up Golf Academy.
Do you have a suite number?
No, I was not granted one.
That would be, it must be separate. It has to be a separate suite or address than the facility. We would need to have something.
Yeah, so when the gentleman came to grant occupancy, he had mentioned that he was gonna look into that and never heard anything in regards to that following after, him coming in and, granting occupancy.
I think we have Vicki Miller from Building and Planning Services shaking her head and on her way up. And then just don't forget that we do have to have a public hearing on this as well.
Make the address, the liquor store, or the liquor license.
Vicki Miller, Building Services. And yes, when we go through the occupancy inspections, that oftentimes does come up. I don't remember that one coming across my desk, but it's not a big deal. We can assign that. We can take care of that probably even today.
Does the committee have any more questions for Mr. Tabert at this time?
I have a question. So when you're explaining where this is at, you walk in the building and you go off to the right where the fitness center was, is that correct?
For the
There's-
gym
there's
one.
an-
Used to have the,
It was a gym.
Right.
Cardio
There,
machine.
Yeah,
isn't there a
there's an
door right
open
there?
gym, there's an open gym for their general membership to access, and we're in a separate studio located right next to that.
Okay, so this is in the back where the fitness rooms were?
Those fitness rooms still are there. It's actually, as soon as you, get down to the bottom of their stairwell, it's actually off to the right where they're, I'm thinking the ones that you're referencing are on the far side of the room. This is actually right as you, get to the bottom of the stairwell.
I just know that there was a door there. That's why I was wondering what you could utilize that door. as.
The far door that I'm thinking you're referencing, there's an access point, but that just gets you into their general gym. It does not,
Well,
give.
this went to the outside, if I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah, there's a doorway that is in their general gym area that goes to the outside, correct?
Emergency exit or whatever.
Any further questions before we open a public hearing? All right, we will open the public hearing. If there is anyone in chambers wishing to speak on this project, going once, twice, we will close the public hearing. What is the wish of the committee?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion to approve by Sikich, second by Bruner. Anything further, Mr. Sikich?
Not for me.
Anything further, Mr. Bruner? I have to say, I'm not convinced that a golf simulator inside of a youth training facility is the best location for alcohol, especially knowing that it's right in the entrance and people will wander down there and all of a sudden, ooh, there's free alcohol.
oh, free,
Well, not free,
available.
but alcohol available. And while Johnny's having basketball practice, it's a quick couple of beers.
If I may add, the general gym access up front, you have to check in with them and their normal check-in policies. But the door that goes down to the general gym is always closed. So you cannot have access to that without checking in, or accessing down there. So when you first enter, you know, that door is closed for parent spectating or parents that are there with their kids. They're actually, directed to go through the other means of entrance to go down to the general gym or their sports field where they're doing their activities. So the access point that I'm speaking of is only for the general members that are going down to the gym or to the Level Up Golf Academy studio.
But there's not always somebody there directing people, correct?
Their claim is that they're always having someone staffed at that front desk. So I can't speak to their operations, but they're supposed to have someone at that front desk, 24 hours of their operation or full hours of their operation.
I mean, I had the same general, it felt weird being in the youth thing, but it sounds like it is totally separated. There's one door to two, almost sounds like it has two doors to get there. It's not like people are just walking past it and peeking in there. So I think the separation of it, I think it's fine. It does feel a little weird, but I don't have any issues with it.
If nothing further, please vote.
You have a button, Committee Member Bruner?
Yeah, but it's not changing.
Are you a yay or a nay?
Yes.
See how you are?
Oh, now it changes.
No, it,
Get a bigger hammer.
All right, and that passes 4-2 with Committee Member Bumpus and Chairperson Miller voting no.
This will go as a positive recommendation to the council.
So much.
Thank you. Moving on, Janesville Police Department Incident Report. Sergeant Bretzler.
Deputy
We
Chief.
did alcohol compliance checks again on December 17th. We added some bars to those checks to include Road Dog, Sneakers, Whiskey Ranch, Lucky's, East Point, and Looking Glass. East Point and Looking Glass failed the compliance check. And then going back to the liquor stores that had failed in the past, they were also checked again and they were in compliance.
wow. So this time it was just it was the bars that failed.
Correct.
When you say fail, it's like non-licensed on hand, or they didn't ID a person that was underage?
An idea person.
Right.
Shows you the prevalence of that, so. How many?
That was December
How many
17th.
bars did you check that two failed?
Looks like 6. 6 bars we checked and 2 failed.
33%. Wow.
Anything further on alcohol related?
No, when you look at the list and you see the calls for service at the establishments, the liquor establishments are doing what we expect. They're calling when there's problems. They're in compliance with what our expectations are when there's disturbances, fights, stuff like that. And our officers are doing a great job of checking licenses and bartenders and they're documenting that in their reports that they do have a valid establishment license and a licensed bartender on hand, so.
Do we have an ordinance or a policy maybe on your side that if a bartender is handed a false ID, can they keep that and call you?
Generally they do.
Kenosha was like a $500 reward, but the Tavern League was paying that $500 for the fake license or the misappropriated license and stuff.
I think our drinking culture has changed a little bit. We're not seeing, when I started 30 years ago, the downtown bars were busy till bar time, 300-400 people out on the street at bar time. We have those bars closing at midnight now. Just got a P3 tip of an underage drinking party that happened to be in Milton. And the reason that stuck out to me is we used to get those every weekend. And I can't remember the last time we got one of those. So that culture has apparently changed, or they're a lot more covert about it now.
Well, maybe the Surgeon General will have some part in that now too, with what he came out with last week about
Right.
the cancer.
All right, city clerk's alcohol license quota report. Anything to report?
Nothing to report.
All right. Temporary licenses.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Committee comments.
This issue here, it says the open bar is at the venue.
Yes, so for the public's awareness, it was brought to the clerk treasurer's attention that the Black Hawk Curling Club is holding a curl-a-thon January 17th to the 19th. They are advertising that they are open to the public and that they are having an open bar. So this information will be provided to the police department for compliance, and the clerk treasurer's office will be in contact with the county to make contact with the curling club.
Thank you very much. Any other committee comments? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Marshik,
I can second that one.
second by Sikich. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, we are adjourned.